let's get started. This will be available as a replay for anyone who misses the first few minutes or wants to share it with friends or whatever. So thank you for joining today. This is the latest webinar in our series that we're doing focused on getting the most out of e-business suite. I'm Mark Knott. I'm the Chief Digital Officer from Winfo Solutions. And with me today, I've got Rahul, who is our solution lead for our WinfoCloudX solution. Rahul will introduce himself later. He's very much the star of the show today. He's going to be taking us through everything that you need to know about how to make sure that EBS survives the next cyber attack. So if we go to the next slide, I'm going to just very briefly introduce myself and Winfo as a start. And then, as I say, the main body of this will be Rahul looking on the cyber challenge that was talked about in our last webinar. We'll give you a quick flash of the EBS assessment tool that we've got and then open for Q&A. So Winfo, not everyone will have heard of Winfo. It's been going for over 10 years. The reason that we have that as a headline is it says that we weren't born last century. So, you know, we haven't got last century's thinking in our DNA, and we weren't born yesterday. So we have got some experience. We feel that 10 years ago, we were very fortunate to be born at that point in time. A lot of things going on around intelligent automation, which has now naturally progressed into AI agents. So very much, you can see on the bottom there, trust, quality, innovation has always been at the heart of Winfo. We've been successful in our growth over those 10 years and now operate across 12 different countries. We've got delivery centers, 5 different places, and we have happy customers. Some of our customers from day one are still with us over 10 years later. Next slide explains the focus that we have on Oracle. Probably 80% of our customers at this point in time have Oracle business applications, either e-business suite or Oracle Fusion. We think we're very well qualified to serve those customers. And this is just a set of the expertise that we've been awarded from Oracle. This is not us saying we're experts in this. This is Oracle saying that we're expert in these. And as you can see, this covers the various different functional pillars, the various on-premise technologies, and then the various cloud technologies. So having that full breadth of vision, we think, is fundamental to us being able to help customers with the big picture. And the final piece in that story is on the next slide. Although we are an Oracle partner, we're not just an Oracle partner. We'll go to the next slide. We also have alliances with all the other major vendors that you'd expect. There are more as well, but these are the key ones, which again means that we understand where the Oracle business applications sit in that broader landscape. And again, we are certified, qualified, capable to work across those different technologies as well to make sure that everything fully integrated. And again, it allows us to see that big picture. So last slide from me is the next one. So on top of everything that our alliance partners bring us, we've put together some sort of reusable accelerators. We've built some products ourselves. We've bundled those into these 8 solutions, which we use as fast starters for any of the projects that we run with customers. Every customer obviously is always different, but these are things that we've been bumping into again and again with the customers that we're working with. I won't go through all of those today. Down the bottom left, you can see our multi-cloud optimization, which is WinfoCloudX. That's the sort of the heart of what we're going to be talking about today as we talk about vulnerability to hackers. That sort of falls under our WinfoCloudX area. And Rahul is our leader in that space. So if we go to the next slide, I will hand over to you, Rahul, to tell us all about it.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. So hello, everyone. I'm Rahul. I'm basically a solution lead for WinfoCloudX. I'm associated with Winfo Solution last 2 years. And prior to that, I was with Oracle, working with multi-cloud coming with a background of AWS and Microsoft Azure cloud as well. So multi-cloud migration, EBS, and all those stuff that I was handling in Oracle. So go to the next slide, please. Uh, Before I dive in, okay, let me quickly share like where we are going, because these 5 points that we are going to discuss are quite related to each other. So we will start by building what Dr. Nadia from Oracle told us last time. And then we are going to discuss these 4 points, why EBS is suddenly a real target, and why a breach is a business problem, not just a IT problem, and whether you could actually recover it when you were hit. And I will finish with a simple 90-day plan you can act on when whether you are on premises or AWS, Azure, or OCI. So this is going to be the agenda next 30 to 40 minutes. Yeah, please go ahead with the next slide. All right, so this is basically building from our last webinar. So what changed? Let me answer that with something Oracle themselves told us. In our last webinar, we were joined by Dr. Nadia, Oracle's Vice President of Product Strategy for e-Business Suite, and someone who sees the threat landscape from very top. Okay, and she said one line that stayed with everyone in the room, and hackers are no longer human, they are AI bots. If you think about what actually means, so attackers are not a person sitting at a keyboard anymore, right? They are machines running non-stop, hitting thousands of systems at once, and finding a weak spot in minutes. So that is the shift. The attacks got automated. So being mostly patched and probably fine doesn't cut it anymore, right? So if the attackers have changed this much, the obvious question is how real is the danger to EBS specifically? And let me show you this. Please move to the next slide. Yes. So this is basically Oracle security recommendation. So if attackers are now automated and persistent, the good news is Oracle tells us exactly how to defend EBS. And it is not complicated. It's simple 4 things. First, if people access EBS from outside, put a protective barrier, a DMZ in front of it. Second, set up EBS in a safe way, like the Oracle using Oracle's own secure configuration console. And the third one is turn on the security feature that are already built in. And so it is kind of a very so less exposed, right? I mean, that is what the security best practice is. And the fourth one is apply security updates without any delay. Okay, so apply Oracle's patch quickly, uh, uh, quarterly, and the new monthly ones are 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 I would say don't fall behind. Okay, these are the recommendation from the Oracle, and we are going to discuss how these threat kind of aimed to be at real EBS system. Please move to the next slide. So here we are basically going to talk. The threat is real and it is aimed at EBS. So now I know CVAS 9.8 means nothing in a boardroom. So let me make it real because these attacks have already hit names. You can see in the over the slide we have taken some screenshot from the real news article. Okay, so the first one, the newest one from this year, an attacker can take over Oracle payment, the part that talks to your bank, okay, with no login at all. And it rated 9.8 out of 10. And it is being heavily exploited right now. Second one is the ransom one, the C10P. Uh, the C10P group use an EBS flaw to breach around 100 of organization. The names like Washington Post, Harvard, Logitech, Allianz, American Airlines, Envoy. So there's so many names, okay, and ransom demands up to $50 million. And and you know what? Oracle itself ended up on the leak site, a victim of flaw in its own product. And the third one is the one everyone forgot is recovery. In most companies, EBS recovery plan is manual, slow, and has never been actually tested. So even one attack can shut down your payroll and finance for days, right? So, and because EBS is customer managed, the responsibility to patch, protect, recover is on you. Please move to the next slide. So this slide is quite interesting where we the title is vulnerability exists across the tech stack. So we all know like EBS is not a single thing. It is built on built-in layers stacked on top of each other. So we have database layer, application, the middle layer, the engine that runs the business logic, the web presentation layer, the screen, payment module, anything I would say the internet facing, right? So vulnerabilities exist across the tech stack. What does that mean? The attackers are not hitting just one layer, they are hitting all of them. Okay, so and that is exactly what these three vulnerabilities CVEs prove basically. CV 2026-46817 is basically hit your Oracle payment, the web, the presentation layer. The 61822 is basically hits the your application middle layer, and 61884 it's the hits the configurator. Okay, the UI, another part of the middle layer. So vulnerabilities exist across the tech stack. Okay, so and that is the real lesson. You cannot secure EBS by fixing one thing. Security has to be the whole stack from top to bottom. Please go ahead with the next slide. So it is so so basically we have seen the flaws are everywhere across the system, but here is what make EBS breach different from any other outage when it get exposed. So as we know, EBS holds your payment, financial data. So breach is just not system going down, right? I mean, it breaks the rule you are legally required to follow. And if you are, let's say, if you are handle card payment, that's a PCI problem. If you report financial, that's a SOX. Your audit integrity is on the line. And if you operate in Europe, laws like NIS2, DORA give you just 24 to 72 hours to report a breach. And that is very tight clock. So it is not, so what I'm trying to say, it is not just an IT problem. It lands on the your board desk, regulator, auditor, and most important, your reputation, right? So the real shift is this: EBS security is not a technical task anymore. It is enterprise risk management. And if the stakes are this much high, regulators, the board, reporting deadlines, then the question is not can you stop a breach? It is if you got hit, can you actually recover? And can you actually recover fast and cleanly? Let's talk about it. Please go to the next slide. So here, recovery, what actually what actually works. So if a breach is now at broad level, regulator level event, the real test is when you are hit, can you actually recover? And let me be honest with you here. I mean, because honestly, this topic builds the trust. So you will hear from vendors promise one click end to end recovery. The truth is more honest than that. So Oracle's full stack DR does brilliant job for recovering your infrastructure, your database, your middleware. But EBS application part is not fully automatic. So why? Because it needs proper setup configured for your specific system, right? So what we actually build automated failover to a backup site, failback across regions, EBS app layer handled properly with Oracle script, and backups that are logged so you always have a clean copy to return back. Okay. And most important of all, recovery that has actually been tested, not just written down. Because here is the truth, a recovery plan that looks great on paper but has never been rehearsed, that is exactly where breach turns into weeks of downtime. So now you know the threat, the compliance stakes, and the real recovery, what actually takes for a real recovery. The very natural question maybe, how do you actually get there? So this is where WinfoCloudX comes in. Uh, Please go to the next slide. All right. So here we in 5 WinfoCloudX offering that builds EBS resilience. How do we actually get there from exposed to secure and recoverable? 5 things under WinfoCloudX, and each of this offering, each one has answer to a problem I have already shown you. Okay, so let me start with the hero product on the left is secure. It is basically a 15-point audit that tells you exactly where you are exposed before an attacker finds out, and that always the place where you want to start. And then we have something recover. Remember the recovery problem we just discussed. This is tested, automated failover. So breach does not become like a week of downtime or something like that. Okay. Uh, then we have migrate, move your EBS to Oracle Cloud and cut your internet facing. It's a kind of managed service. So EBS to OCI, and we have optimized. In 5 days. We will work with you. We find out the cost, wasted cost, and during that period, we'll tighten the security at the same time. And we have DevOps. So remember, Oracle has now patches every month, right? So this is how we are going to automate the patching, a full CI/CD pipeline for patching. It's a kind of a one single click deployment. So whenever whether you're if I have to summarize all these things, if whether your biggest worry is knowing your risk, recovering, or keeping up with the patches, there is a cleaner, proven way to help you. Okay, so let me go to the next slide where we are going to discuss how we are actually how actually the uh, problem sees as per our uh, what we consistently see across all our EBS environment and whatever our experience with our customer. So now you might be thinking that that is all fine, but does this really apply to us? So let me tell you what actually find again and again in a real EBS environment. And honestly, it is the same story almost everywhere. So first one is the kind of issues that we see is the privilege access that nobody has ever removed after someone changed the role or left the organization or something like that. Okay, often years old, and it is completely invisible until you go and look for it. Like there is some privileged door that we are not using at all. Okay, second is and this one surprise most of you here, fully patched system that are still wide open. Why? Because the risk was not in the patch level at all. It was in the configuration, right? So, and it is something like, patch does not going to touch your configuration. So that is again kind of problem that we continuously see. And the third one is a disaster recovery, the DR. So a disaster recovery plan that looks great on paper, but has never, once has, implemented or tested. So nobody really knows at the time of, when we need this DR, is it really going to work or not? That is the kind of problem we see quite often. And the fourth one is the old legacy integration that nobody kind of owns anymore. So the connection to kind of a bank or reporting tool, or that has been set up few years ago, and usually kind of a soft test way in, right? I mean, nobody knows why it has been done and what was the purpose it has been done. So all those kind of problem that we see. And uh, I would say here, here is the thing, like none of these are negligent. So I would say it is not that teams did anything wrong, but it's a drift, right? EBS quietly change over the years, right? I mean, over the years, upgrade, customization, people's coming and going. So you cannot patch your way out of the drift. So, which is exactly why point in time patching is not enough. So security, I can say that security can't be once a year event, right? It has to be a process so that you know that, and you should be knowing it, how this process looks like. So with this, I would say uh, knowing where exactly I'm standing right now, it is not a guesswork. And for that, what we have done, we have built a tool for it. And let me show you that tool. Please go to the next slide. Yeah. So, so how actually we are going to start? I would say is simpler than it sounds. There are three steps, and if you notice, there is a loop. Like, and you can see there is an arrow that is basically completing the whole loop. So the first step is access, assess, right? So look across everything: user access, segregation of duties, your EBS configuration, database, infrastructure, compliance, whether you are on-prem, OCI, or hybrid. So what is your current status? Okay. Second one is prioritize. This is important. Like, we rank every finding by business risk, critical, high, medium. So you spend your money on what actually matters for you, not everything at once. The third one is improve. So you will get a practical roadmap, tied to compliance and resilience. And if you want, we keep monitoring it for you. And then you come back and start it again. So because as the arrow shows, security is a project, is not a project that you just finish, right? It's a continuous process that you have to do again and again. So in the word of, monthly patch and automated attacks, that loop is exactly how you are going to stay ahead. Okay, so let's go and let me show you our the tool that we have built. Yeah, please go to the next slide. So this is basically an assessment tool. Uh, I said it all start, with knowing where you stand, but that is usually a kind of a guesswork, weeks of consultants dragging around and build, fetch some information and then come up with something. This is what your current status. But in our case, this is our AI assessment engine. It scan your live EBS, look at 156 different settings, and give you single risk score in minutes, not in weeks. Okay, so look at this real example. It has scored 21 out of 35. So the blast radius is large, and in one glance, you can see exactly where the pain is. The database, the integration, and security all are mixed, like 5 out of 5. So but if you see your CEMLI, and the function impact is 0. So basically what I'm trying to tell you, it's there is no guesswork. It tells you precisely where you look, where you stand, right? So this is what this tool does. And down here, it is no, it is already picked up the fact, like the source version, the target, your 6 risky custom objects, the server layout, all it does automatically. So instead of we think you are probably okay, you get a number, a risk level, okay, and a clear picture backed by data, no opinion. It everything is data backed and it's fully automated. Now you may ask, like, okay, but a score, like what to do with this score? So I would say a score on its own is not enough, right? I mean, the real value is what it does next, and it is it is going to tell you exactly what will break and hands you a kind of a proper plan to fix it. So let me show you that as well. Please go to the next slide. So here you can see, like the slide, like say, from blind spot to blueprint in minutes. So what does that mean? So the engine gives you a score, but a score alone doesn't help you, right? You need to know what to do, and this is where it's get very powerful. On the left side, you will see, like it is automatically finds what will break. Your operating system is end of life, old custom code that won't work anymore, database architecture that has to change, okay, things that would normally blow up a project halfway through, it finds them upfront before you start. And on the right, it doesn't just give you the list of problem, it hands you it's giving you a proper plan, a phased roadmap. Fix the infrastructure, upgrade the database, upgrade the application, fix customization, and then keep innovating. Okay, so 5 clear phases in a proper right order. And look at the scale down, like where we have like mentioned 484 programs, 380 components, and a 15-step roadmap. 4 to 6 months of work, all mapped automatically. So what used to take our consultant week of manual digging, and still, because it was a manual work, we still there are chances we may miss something. Now it takes minute and missing no information. Everything is coming from your system, your data, and everything get printed and getting hand over to you as a proper plan. And this is how we take we take you from a blind spot to a blueprint. And the best part is the first step, this assessment. And it is something, I would say, it is something we will do it for you free. And let me show you how to start. Please go to the next slide. So here is a scan that you can scan it, and you will get to know get more about our tool. And we are now, I think, open for the question and answer.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Rahul. Very
Yeah.
concise. You're actually ahead of time, which is great. Um, one of the questions is, in terms of moving to the cloud, can you use the Oracle database at Azure as an option if you're currently on premise?
Okay. So so the question, what I understand, let me first uh, so EBS is on premises and want to use database in Azure. This is what I understood.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have database in Azure. For that, we need to establish the connectivity, because if database is in Oracle, probably we have Oracle offer connection from from Azure to Azure to OCI, OCI to AWS. All those connectivities are there. But for databases running on Azure, I think we need to establish the network connectivity by our own, maybe using VPN or something. Then we can use it.
Okay. The other one was around the full stack. I think I got this right. Full stack disaster recovery. Is that a separate product from Oracle, or is it something that's already included?
Yeah, it's a as a service that is available in Oracle Cloud. Okay, Oracle call it as an OCI FSDR, just like any other of offering and services in Oracle Cloud. So it's not a separate product. It's integrated in Oracle Cloud. So we can just like you're accessing compute, storage, databases. So FSDR comes as a service in the disaster section. So it's a service from Oracle Cloud.
Okay, very good. And assuming that we've used FSDR to do the things that you said, so that we've got the core product installed, we've built the scripts or whatever you said we needed. Once that's in place, if we did have a ransomware attack, how quickly would we be able to recover back to before the attack?
So we have tested our FSDR, and it's a continuous process that we do the DR drill for our customer as well.
Yep.
As per my experience, for us it took less than 30 minutes or something, if I'm not wrong, for when we tested for run one of the DR drill for our customer. But being said that, it all depends. It depends upon how what is this how complex is an environment is, and number
Sure.
of other factor as well. But FSDR is one of the very beautiful and brilliant solution by Oracle, where you can build whole of your DR disaster recovery, and you can test it with just one single click. And like say, you can plan for your DR drill. Don't wait for your attack or somebody to come and attack. You can plan it for maybe any Saturday, Sunday on your where you can take some downtime and you can test it. And it's just one single click DR solution.
Okay. And then there's a couple of questions around CloudX itself. Um, Whether CloudX provides features which protect against cyber attacks, or whether CloudX identifies best practices and ensures that they're implemented to make you as secure as possible.
Yes, so we do provide all these things, and we are running all these things for our existing customer as well. So we have offerings such like WinfoCloudX Secure, where we go and assess your workload that is running in cloud already, or you want to migrate in cloud, or you want to plan to deploy any kind of workload in cloud. So we do follow all the security best practices. We follow the framework of well architected framework, whether it's AWS, OCI, or Azure. So we follow the best practices given by the cloud vendor, and we implement it, and we have an automated way where we can go and run some script, and that will generate a report for you, and it will tell you where you are, where are the things are wide open, and what are the security best practices that you are not following. So
Very good.
we call it as a security assessment report that we run for our customer.
Okay.
Sorry,
And
Mark,
then
I missed the second question. What was the second question?
no,
uh,
I think you
okay,
covered it.
okay, okay.
The another question, different question. The assessment report, do I have to have the full CloudX solution in place, or can the assessment run just as a one-off? Is there anything else that needs to be set up in order that I can run the assessment?
uh, uh, this EBS assessment, right?
Yes.
Okay, so basically we are going to share some script with you where you can run it, and the output you will share with us, and after that we can give you the full report. So that is basically one of the offering of WinfoCloudX. where we say like, EBS assessment, report generation, and the roadmap, like, whatever the report says, how we are going to implement it and detailed plan of it. So everything,
Okay.
we are going to hand over to you.
Okay. I thought it was a final one. We've got another one coming now. Um, within WinfoCloudX, do you have anything that looks at cost governance
Yes.
and provides any chargeback models for the business?
Yeah, definitely. That's a very good question because cost optimization, as I mentioned, security is not one project that we do once in a year, but it's a continuous process. Similarly, cost optimization is one of the things that we do regularly for our customer, and we kind of on quarterly basis we go and see like what are the opportunities where we can save cost. So we run something like we again have an automated way where we can implement something in your cloud, and that is going to identify where you are wasting your compute resources, storage, or let's say you are using an storage that is not, you provision some IOPS and you are not using it. You are using your only 40 to 50% of your CPU utilization. So all those things will identify and will give you a report. And apart from that, we will also provide you what is the solution for you based upon your usage. Some we will track your usage from last 3 months to 6 months, and based upon that, we'll predict. I mean, when we say we predict, means our agents will predict, what would be your, apart from, let's say you have 6 CPUs or 16 gig memory, maybe
Yeah.
it is good to use 2 CPU or 4 gig of memory, something like that, as per your use cases.
Yeah.
So that kind of report we can share with you.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess there's things like bursting as well that can be enabled within there to cover
E-
peak periods. So you sort of
Exactly.
bring the base down, but still allow those peak. Okay. Another final question. They're coming through more than I thought. So this one is around the resilience and security for someone who wants to stay on premise. Can we still advise on what they should do if they want to keep e-business suite on premise? They don't want to move even the technology to the cloud.
Definitely. I mean, we can. Uh, some of our customers are still on premises and they are using EBS on premises. So we will definitely provide those assessment reports and recommendation even if you are running on premises. And if you have no plan to move to the cloud, that is perfectly fine. Yeah, for us, I mean, we will definitely provide you the assessment report and recommendation for on-premise solution as well.
Excellent. Which I guess is around just sort of getting up to the right version that then has the
Exactly.
monthly security patches coming through, making sure that you're applying the security patches, etc. So the same as you described.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that really is it. So thank you, Rahul. Very insightful. Anyone who's interested, please scan the QR code. Feel free to apply for the assessment, which will just be an easy view of your current e-business suite estate
Yeah.
and then some ideas, as you've seen, on what you might like to do next. And we're very happy to have that conversation with you. So thank you again for your time today and hope that we can speak soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining.